for a manager. Once again, if you're that afraid that this person's going to spread a disease, then maybe just keep on walking. Just keep moving your ass and go to a different part of the store. If I will never understand this. If I was afraid that someone had a deadly disease and they were going to spread it to me, the last thing I would do is take out my camera to document it and get right up in their face. But, hey, you're endangering people's lives right up in their face. No, I wouldn't do that. Never have cowards been so eager to advertise their own cowardice. This man is more afraid than that elderly woman. The elderly woman, you know, she is in the most vulnerable category. And she's not that concerned. He's more afraid than she is. And he's happy to advertise that to the whole world. Pathetic. All right. Here's something that's not so pathetic. Let's play this for you, because honestly, I believe it's one of the internet's greatest gifts to mankind. You've probably already seen it. If you spent any time on the internet, then you probably couldn't escape yesterday without seeing this. But we're going to play it again anyway. And because I think it's in the running for maybe the funniest internet video of all time. And unfortunately, if you're listening to the audio podcast and you haven't seen this video, you're not going to be able to fully appreciate it. You have to see the visual, so I apologize for that. You can always come to YouTube and check out this segment at least, because you need to see this. You need to see to appreciate all of the subtlety of the humor. You have to actually see it. But here we have a hearing with a few lawyers and a judge. I don't know what the hearing was about. Doesn't matter. And apparently some of the backstory here is that one of the lawyers in this hearing with the judge is a Zoom. You know, we do everything on Zoom now, so it's a Zoom hearing. And he was using his secretary's computer. And the secretary has a young daughter who had previously been on Zoom and was using a certain filter. And this filter had not been taken off. And so then, this is what happened.
I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to. I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat. Everything. This is why I say you have to see it. Okay. Because the facial expressions of the cat are what really sell it. There's one moment in particular when he first realizes that he's a cat, and he kind of looks down, and he's got this shocked, confused expression. The cat has a shocked, confused expression. The cat just nails the feeling. I didn't know that the filters were this advanced. Because there's this oh crap, I'm a cat moment, and look, I've never seen that, especially on a cat. Because his cat's having an existential crisis. And that in particular, when he lets out this kind of like groan, that's the part that really sells. And then the whole thing, where he has to clarify that he's not a cat. Which I have to say, as many people on the internet said yesterday, you know, that's what a cat would say. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to actually say, I'm not a cat, that means you might actually So who knows? We don't know what actually happened. There's a lot of that in this situation too, but that's great. The other hilarious video that has graced the internet this week, which we played yesterday, was the Gorilla Glue Girl, as she is commonly known. That is Tessica Brown. You remember she's the woman who sprayed industrial glue in her hair because she ran out of hairspray. And so she just figured, well, you know, this is an adhesive kind of substance, might as well just put it in my hair. And so she did that, and then her hair ended up just being crusted into place for a whole month, as you might expect. Ended up going to the ER. They couldn't do anything about it. Now she's thinking about filing a lawsuit against Gorilla Glue. And like I told you yesterday, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, she will. But if she doesn't win the lawsuit, they'll probably settle with her, and she's going to make a lot of money. She shouldn't, but that's the way things go now. Because all she's going to need to prove is that there was nothing on the bottle specifically clarifying not to use it in your hair, and there wasn't. All the bottle said was don't spray it on your skin and your eyes or on your clothes. Didn't say anything about hair. You would think you would need to say that, but apparently you do. Now, this woman, Tessica Brown, has actually gotten a lot of sympathy online. There's been a lot of sympathy for this woman. And she has a GoFundMe, of course. And that GoFundMe is up to $17,000, almost $18,000. We're talking $18,000. People are donating to a woman because she put glue in her hair. And you read some of these comments. Like, here's some of the comments on the GoFundMe page for the glue girl. Someone says, believe in God. You're in my prayers, and I pray doctors can clear this all for you with complete healing now and in the future. Be encouraged to know that all things are possible with God. All things are possible with God. Well, he can get the glue out of your hair. All things are possible. And that's true. Yeah, but God can get the glue out of your hair. I kind of think God's going to make you, but this is one where God's going to say, you're on your own on this one. Someone else says, praying that it all turns out well. Someone else says, I pray that she'll be okay. Someone else says, I know the road ahead is not going to be easy, but hang in there and just ignore the negativity. I hope you find healing on the inside as well as on the outside. And there was another comment that I really liked. Oh, we all make mistakes. You're still smart, beautiful, strong, and courageous. I guess I have to appreciate how generous these people are being. But first of all, yeah, we all make mistakes. We don't all make that mistake. In fact, nobody in history, as far as we know, has ever made that mistake but her. She's totally alone. She is in an arena all by herself. Here. She's in a league of her own. And not in a good way. Are you really praying? People went home last night and they got on their knees and they prayed for the woman who had glue in her hair. Now, again, all things are possible with God. God is omnipotent and omniscient. He can hear all prayers. He can respond to all prayers. So, you can't overtax God. But at the same time, so many things to pray about in the world. And you made time to pray about the woman with glue in her hair. And to give her money. What would really make me angry is not even to look. You look at her $18,000 on GoFundMe for glue in her hair. Compare that to people with cancer who have GoFundMes, people whose kids have cancer. I bet you're going to find a lot of GoFundMes for cancer-stricken children that have not raised $18,000. So let's get our priorities straight. Would be my suggestion. Okay, now moving on to the newest segment and the greatest, which we call reading the YouTube comments, where I, in fact, read the YouTube comments. Here are a few comments left on the show yesterday. KS Hutter says, Matt, give us a list of a few people who you think could actually be president in 2024. I personally wish Ron Paul would run again, but he's way too old now. Yeah, I would say he's, what is he, 97 now? I'd say he's probably too old. Ron DeSantis is the guy that I've been mentioning, and I think others are gonna. I think there are other potential candidates that maybe you could mention right now. I think that 4 years is a long time, and other people. Hopefully, it's enough time to find other candidates and draft them and find talented people. The mainstream Republican Party on a national level. If you look at Republicans in Congress. There may be a lot of incompetent clowns there. But on the right generally, plenty of very talented and competent people. So if I had to cast a vote right now for 2024, it would be for Ron DeSantis. I think there are many other potential candidates as well. The thing is, if Trump runs again in 2024 as a 78-year-old man, and we have to do all this all over again, then I really don't think he's going to win. But I don't think he would win the general. He would win the primary for sure, and he would suck up all the oxygen. And all of this up-and-coming talent, is really talented guys like Ron DeSantis, would suffocate from the lack of oxygen. Which is why I really think we need to start moving forward and thinking about who's going to be the next generation. All right. Matthew says, Matt, I love your new segment appropriately named Reading the YouTube Comments, but I think it'd be better if you read comments from the Daily Wire website. It would add a layer of exclusivity if you read comments from your live stream chat or the comments on your articles on the DW website. This way, only those who are behind the paywall can participate and will entice the YouTube freeloaders to get a membership. Matthew, how about you stop trying to micromanage me? Stop telling me what to do. How about that? You're banned from listening to the show. Done. Get out. But thanks for the comment anyway. Diana Vega says, I just want to thank Matt for being one of the main voices to steer me away from the left last year. I may not agree with everything he says, but his dry, sarcastic demeanor and logic are what the world needs right now. Well, thank you, Diana. And this really, and I mean that sincerely, being able to, because I can say whatever I want, present whatever opinions I want, but you have to be willing to think critically, to listen to the arguments, and think critically about them. You have to be willing to adjust your entire worldview. You have to be willing to consider the possibility that you've been wrong about a lot of things for a long time. And most people in this country today are simply not willing to do that. It takes a lot of intellectual courage to do that. And Califungus, really I'm just reading this because I love the username. Califungus says, in case you didn't notice, it's time for secession. There simply aren't any other choices. Now, I've said many times, I think the idea of a national divorce is good. I would be in favor of I think it's, I can't think of another solution anyway. I don't see us all coming together and unifying magically, as much as it would be nice if we would. I don't see that actually happening. But I also haven't seen a plan for secession that seems feasible. So you draw that up and let me know, and we can talk. There are a few things worse in life than hearing that sound of the alarm clock going off, and you feel like you just fell asleep 30 minutes ago because you're tossing and turning all night. You're not comfortable. You're not getting any sleep, and then the alarm goes off, and you got to start the day. And there's no pushing it back. You can snooze a few times. If you're me, you snooze 10 times until your wife kicks you in the face and makes you get out of bed. But nothing worse than that. On the other side, nothing better than waking up after and feeling actually rested. And if it's been a while since you felt really rested, then you might want to look into Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. If you like a mattress that's really soft or firm, you sleep on your side or your back, or your stomach, or you sleep really hot, with Helix, there's a specific mattress for each and every unique case. You don't need to take their word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best mattress of 2019 and 2020 by GQ and Wired Magazine. Just go to helixsleep.com/Walsh, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. We have a Helix Sleep mattress, and I can attest, it really is the best sleep of your life. The only downside is that once you've slept on a Helix Sleep mattress, you're not going to want to sleep on another mattress. It's going to make it difficult sometimes when you're traveling, but it's always good to get back to that bed. So right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off and free meals with all mattress orders for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Walsh. That's helixsleep.com/Walsh. So $200 off your mattress order. One other thing, here's possibly the best news you're going to hear all day. Right now, using promo code Walsh, you get 10% off any Daily Wire membership plan. Let me tell you, if you're not a member, you are missing all of this stuff. What makes a membership so great? Well, members get articles, ad-free, access to all of our live broadcasts, show library, 2 full hours of Ben Shapiro Show, and our always growing catalog of content. You know about all the great stuff we've got coming up this year. Well, if you want access to that, now's the time. Plus, with our all access, you'll receive 2 of the greatest of all beverage vessels, the Leftist Tears Tumbler. All of that plus 10% off when using promo code Walsh. So go over to dailywire.com and become a member today. Become a member today at dailywire.com. Now, let's get to our daily cancellation. You know, there are only a few corporate chains whose honor and dignity I will defend to my dying breath. Bass Pro Shops is one, Arby's is another. And rounding out the trio is that realm of culinary delight known as Cracker Barrel. I maintain that you simply will not find a better meatloaf dish with 3 sides for under $12 anywhere in the world. I dare you to try. Maybe a low bar, but still. Also, across the entire American Southeast, there are like 46 Cracker Barrels per square mile. It's become such a part of the landscape that you either develop an affection for it or you become deeply depressed. And I have chosen affection in this case. And so, it may be partly because of this deep affection that I take personally the recent efforts by some on the left to turn Cracker Barrel racist. This is one of the weirder trends among progressive race hustlers. They notice a lot of white people congregating in buildings, in these Cracker Barrel buildings, disappearing inside for hours at a time, re-emerging with a fatter stomach and carrying a scented candle and a bag of hard candy from the gift shop, and they figure that something sinister must be happening inside. Something racist. And that's why a few months ago, Cracker Barrel, you may remember, made headlines because there was a, quote, noose hanging from the ceiling in one of their restaurants. And this sparked outrage until it was discovered that the noose was actually not a noose, but the cord of an antique soldering iron. But no worries, said the media. You know, they simply changed their headlines and reported that a, quote, here's CNN's phrasing, a, quote, noose-like cord was stuck in Cracker Barrel. Yes, if you can't get away with calling it a noose, just call it noose-like. And the great thing is that literally any rope, string, or cord can be called noose-like. Now, if you thought that would be the most desperate attempt to racistify Cracker Barrel, you were wrong. Yesterday, it was trending again, this time due to a meme posted by some random account, which makes the following claim. This is the claim. Cracker was a slang term for whip. That's why blacks called whites in the crack of the whip. A Cracker Barrel is a barrel that held the whips for sale at the country store. You see the whip going from the R to the K in the logo. Racism in your face. Now, this claim that Cracker Barrel was named after barrels of whips sold at the country store for plantation owners to use on their slaves, this claim was amplified and repeated and immediately, unquestioningly accepted by thousands of people. Sophia Nelson, who's a self-described award-winning journalist, retweeted this claim with the caption, "Heavy sigh. I really like Cracker Barrel, but now that I see this and I get it, I sadly no longer can eat it." And she passed this along to her 74,000 followers. This is what award-winning journalists do now. They see a meme, accept it absolutely and on face value, and then promptly spread it as a fact to the public. The backlash was so intense that eventually Cracker Barrel actually had to issue a statement addressing it and denying the racist origins of their name. Now, an intelligent person, of which there is a dwindling supply in this country, upon hearing this claim about barrels of whips, might immediately suspect that something isn't right. First of all, why would you sell whips in a barrel, of all things? Wouldn't they get tangled? Isn't that the most impractical way to sell whips? I mean, you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and find all kinds of ropes and cords for sale, noose-like items, CNN would say. And what you'll find is that they're all hanging or placed neatly on shelves. If you walk into a Lowe's and say, "Excuse me, can you point me to your barrel of ropes?" They're going to look at you like you're insane. The other problem with the claim is that it's completely made up. And maybe that's the main problem with it, is that it's just completely, totally... This is a thing that somebody on the internet simply invented out of all things and posted. There is zero truth to it. As it turns out, and shockingly, even Snopes did a fact check on this, the term Cracker Barrel comes from literal barrels of crackers that used to be sold at country stores. Now, a barrel of crackers seems itself sort of impractical and unsanitary, but you know, this was a different time. People back in those days thought nothing of sticking their hand into a huge barrel and pulling out a wad of crackers, and then they buy the handful of crackers for a nickel or whatever it was, and that's where the name comes from. The Cracker Barrel origin story that went viral yesterday was essentially a conspiracy theory. And this is what we have to understand. This is a conspiracy theory, and this is how left-wing conspiracy theories often work. We know about the conspiracy theories on the right, QAnon, Sandy Hook trutherism, and so on. We hear plenty about those. But the left has its own. They just look a little different and are built on different background assumptions. The most basic background assumption for the left-wing conspiracy theory is that everything is racist. Every institution is racist. And racism, that is bigotry by white people against non-white people specifically, is embedded into everything in our culture. See, conspiracy theories are all about finding patterns where they don't exist. Or finding patterns where they do exist and then inventing extravagant and fantastical explanations for those patterns. This happens on both sides of the aisle. It is very far from an exclusively right-wing phenomenon. Claiming that the Cracker Barrel logo is a racist dog whistle from a store with mysterious nooses hanging in its gift shop is a conspiracy theory every bit as ridiculous and invented as the claim that a pizza shop in D.C. is the staging ground for a child sex trafficking ring. The only difference, again, is the background assumption that goes into it. And so Cracker Barrel is not canceled. It will never be canceled on my list. As long as it keeps serving that delicious meatball. But the conspiracy theorists smearing its good name are absolutely canceled. And that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Godspeed.
Yeah! Yeah! Dad! What's up, my people? This is Showbiz, don't? Alright, man. Look, who do we have here right now? I see a few of y'all up in here. Who was that Ninja 38? What's going on with you? Muhammad Tyson. What's going on with you? Who was it? Nigga, whoops. What is it? Hump day, boy. Won't you be my neighbor? Whoops. Won't you believe? Could you please sing it with me? My neighbor. My neighbor. Look, we have all black Jew shoes. We are ready. Look, check this out. First and foremost, I want to say I just got off of a interview with Jamel Hammer, junior lightweight WBO champion, hit Tyson Bell. The guy is just a superhuman being. Jamel, I always liked the guy. I've always wondered why a guy like him who dedicated so much of his life to our great nation, United States, facts are in the bank. I always wondered why a guy, especially a guy extremely talented like him, isn't one of the more talked about, one of the biggest. So I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to do whatever I can. A guy who served our nation, and not just in Iraq, not just being a gunman, not just putting his life on the line, but also represented us in the 2012 Olympics. It's Tyson Bell. No more coffee, bitch. You know how I do. Yeah, I do. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I just really think the guy. Oh, DP, busy day today. So we'll catch the stream later. But for the community, go ahead, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You do your thing. Hold on, let me get Showbiz to one.